I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Abstract Essay, where ideas take shape, find depth, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. He is a fantasy author and composer, and of course, the author of the series Tales of the Ocean City, none other than Mr. Christopher Kaufman.
Hello, Daniel. I'm glad to be with you again.
Yes, yes, indeed. So, Mr. Christopher, can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Well, as you said, I'm a composer and writer. I also am a teacher and I present concerts, which I've been doing for many years. Two concert series, one for like adult audiences in the evening, and then the one called the Fantastic Theater, which is like an arts education outreach concert series for young people and up. And for that, I've created like music theater pieces with lots of music and theater and art and dancing and puppets and all that. So all that.
Mr. Christopher Kaufman, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to
But
the
of course,
world.
but of course, Daniel.
Yes, hoping for more and more empowering series like this to come. And today
Doing
let's
our
talk
best.
about Tales of the Ocean City. Tell us, how did you crafted all these series in one?
Well, it was a long process. Um, I, I went to, well, I started writing, I should start at the beginning. I started writing books like this, creating fantasy books with illustrations, colorful illustrations, when I was like 9, right? But then during the high school years, I found music. I went to a place called the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, and I became a composer there. I sang bass solos, played oboe and piano, and composed. And so I lived the life of a composer for many years, completing my schooling at the Cornell University with a doctorate in music composition and the associated advanced degrees. But my stories never left me, see. So I'm the kind of person that when I want to go to sleep, I put myself into imaginative scenarios. And so the result of all that was I graduated not only with advanced music degrees, but with the complete event series of Tales of the Ocean City in my head, all the way through book 8, which I'm finishing only now. So, in about, well, the early 2000s, I started writing it down. I first laid out all the event structures with little headings and stuff like that, and I started filling it in and writing. But it wasn't really the words, it wasn't there yet. It wasn't there yet. I was getting there. But then I started developing my home studio for sound and music, with the full orchestra in a box, as you might say, and all this stuff. And then I started speaking the narration and writing the music at the same time into my program Logic. And that's when it really came to life. The music and the words and the story all happening at the same time. And it really came to life. Speaking the words, made it more alive and my writing improved. And I developed my whole writing style from that. And so once that was cooking, I did the first 2 books of Tales of the Ocean City. And audio, it's like almost like the audio album came first. And of course, it's narration and it's filled with my cinematic symphonic music all over the way, all fused together. And so I finished those 2 in the 2000s. And then I took a break from Tales of the Ocean City, as I was mentioning before, and my daughter was born, and I created this uh, arts education concert series called the Fantastic Theater, and started writing books and they were like books and live shows and audio albums all at the same time, kind of like Peter and the Wolf on steroids. So I did that for a number of years, and then basically what happened, my daughter grew up and grew out of this theatrical world that had created. And then I turned back and I went back to Tales of the Ocean City and said, all right, it's time to finish this. So I did books 3 through 5 in like 1 year, and something like 22, 22, yeah, 2022. And then I was warmed up and kept going. And so that's where I am now.
Mister, what is the initial inspiration for setting your stories in Ocean City? What is specific memory, the atmosphere of town itself, or feeling you wanted to capture?
That's a really good question. I remember early on when I was conceiving and living the stories in my mind, it was very kind of mystical and spiritual. And in my books, there's lots of visual effects like colors. And of course, the main character, Harloot, is a young man, and he has his lifelong companion is named Vespucian, and she's a Pegasus, but a telepathic being. They're different than just Pegasi, but they're connected, and so they're flying a lot. And I had them flying through like whorls of different colored mist and stuff like this. And I was really getting this visceral feeling across. And so the challenge is to turn that into words, which I believe I've done. And of course, the music, it all goes together. But it's like a mystical, powerful feeling. And of course, the other aspect is that all through my earlier life, um, I used fantasy was a way of escaping, difficult early life situations into my mind and imagination, and recreating like a reality for myself, which is reflected in the story, and therefore, of course, a metaphor for everyone who's reading it, like a lot of good fantasy is, as Lloyd Alexander, one of my favorite fantasy writers, says, that it's all like a metaphor for your life, and you can talk about different life circumstances and live through it. Right. So the main, it's like at the introduction of the story, it says, Tales of the Ocean City is the story of a young civilization turning the corner to the future. But first, they must face an enemy from the deep past, the Vorm. And so all of us, as we move forward in life, have to deal with life circumstances from our earlier lives, obstacles or issues or problems or whatever it might be, in order to move forward. So for me, writing through this, especially book 1 and through book 5, this has been that cathartic kind of, adventure of artistic life. And I think others would experience that from experiencing the story.
Mr. Christopher, how did you balance portraying the real familiar places of Ocean City with creating a fictional elements that drive your narratives? Did you take liberties with the geography or landmarks?
Well, the Tales of the Ocean City is carved out of the belly of a vast volcano, dormant volcano, that they once worshipped as a god. Like in the time of Harloot and Vespucian, it's like 1,000 years ahead of that initial time when they were first arrested. It's an origin story about how they evolved on the ancestral island, and the Vorm evolved with them, and they turned xenophobic and pushed the people into the ocean, and they were surviving on rafts and being beset by storms and sea beasts and creatures, and they were about to all die. But then the Parians saw them and rescued them and brought them to this place at the front and the belly of this vast volcano, and they carved this city out of that space. So there's a lot of geographical elements in it, as far as the core of the story and where they live and who they are.
Interesting, Mr. Christopher. Truly, truly empowering stories. And what is the central themes that connect the various tales in this collection? Is there a common thread like nostalgia, mystery, community, or the power of the sea that runs through them all?
Well, I think it's the something we've talked about before, the transformative power of fantasy itself. And there's a lot also in terms of transition. Like I just mentioned, how um, they're turning the corner to the future, right? And so in the original story, in the beginning and on throughout, there's certain characters that represent like core traditional classic fantasy elements. I don't want to give too much away, but a lot of these older characters are then transitioned to younger characters as it moves forward. In other words, their places in the civilization are taken over from older to younger as they transform into the future and their new realities as they move into the next level. And it actually becomes in the ones I'm writing now, it goes from classic fantasy, true classic fantasy and epic fantasy in the first volumes, and in the green world they're traveling through space and it becomes fantasy science fiction. So a lot of it is about transition and forward movement and just super powered imaginative elements that are quite challenging to write down and get from in my mind to yours. Mhm.
Interesting, Mr. Christopher. In what ways did you work to make the town of Ocean City itself feel like a central character in the book rather than just a backdrop?
Sure. Well, at the very beginning of the very first introductory chapter, Harloot and Vespucian are leaving their island home and traveling to the ocean city to join more fully in the city life. So it's a main character from the outset. And on their way to that, they see the princess, Brylin, and her Parianth bond, as it's said, the telepathic connection that's what's referred to when I say bond. And he sees the princess. He's about to say hello, and that's when they're attacked by the enemy Vorm warriors. And the first book is called Battle in the Sky, and it's basically this long, drawn out, visceral, fun, wild battle scene. And then at the end of it, at the very end, one of the main characters reaches the ocean city. It's like, so that's the goal from the very beginning. He's going there, and then they arrive at the ocean city, and it's very uplifting and powerful at the end. And then in the beginning of book two, he's going out into the city, meeting his friends. He goes to the sculpture garden, and his friend sings a beautiful song. His friend Ayla is kind of a bard character and sings a song he wrote. And then he is whisked off to the volcano where he initiates. He goes into a initiation ritual. That's the main adventure sequence of book two, which is called Descent into the Abyss. And he goes into the volcano, and there's this huge initiation ritual experience he has where he interacts with personifications from the deep past and gods and goddesses, and then he fights this giant monster. It's very nice action there, and he comes out on the other side and goes into the golden sun, and it's very positive at the end. So it has a lot of facets of the geography and the city and how it interacts with the people and what they do. Now, I'm going to suggest that I've talked about the story and the music. Maybe now is a good time.
Yes,
I've
go ahead.
given you some, I'll introduce, it's an excerpt from
Excerpt.
there's two of them. The first one is introductory, and it's an excerpt from the story. It's actually an action sequence after they're attacked, and um, he and Vespucian are battling the enemy warriors. But it's
Yes.
music fused
Music.
with story. This is called a video book, I call it, where the pages stream by, totally integrated with the music and narration. If you'd be so kind as to play it now.
Definitely. So, Mr. Christopher, is it do you have the file right now? Can you share
I
it to us
sent
now?
it to you. Um,
Y-
I can
yes, but
try.
yes, please. Can you try it for me?
Yeah, I can find it. Just let me locate it here.
Thank you.
And then I have to what? Share?
Yes, go to share and then so that we can see it.
Okay, I have it here, and I'm just looking for the share button. I'm not that familiar with this.
Go to the bottom. We have the script, the
I see
share.
it. I see it. I just had to make my screen bigger. Screen and select tab to share. It's not doing it. Let me try again. Let's see. I press screen,
Yes.
and then it says select tab to share.
Yes. Select the file that you
Yeah, I don't
been
see it
located.
here. All I see is Riverside FM Studio.
Oh, because supposed to be either on a website or in a certain, like your website. Can we access to your website that I just presented a while ago?
It's not on a website. It's just on my screen like a file, a movie.
Yes, that's why I cannot share to Mister, because it's supposed to be included to the website itself, like included to your books. So I want to apologize for that. I thought we can bring out to your form. So
Well, I did send it to you via Smash, so you should have it somewhere. If you
smash.
want to insert it, I don't know if this is completely live or if you can do some editing, but
Yes,
you
it's
can.
already live. So I
Okay.
want to apologize for that. So if we cannot do the video itself, so can you just explain to us what is in there while I'm
Well,
looking for
I
it?
might be able to find. I do. I'm sorry. I hope this isn't boring for people to watch me go through this, but I do have a different thing. It's very similar. We can do that. It's a it's a book trailer, and it has pretty much the same thing in it.
Okay, let's see
So
it.
how do I make that happen?
Uh, Go to share again and uh, look for the website that you want to share.
Do I press screen and look for it?
Yes.
Okay, so I still just see select a tab, and it says Riverside FM Studio.
You need to open one website, just like Google, and then search
Oh, I can
for.
open it. It's on my YouTube channel.
Okay, go to YouTube and open that file and share to us.
Okay. I'm sorry. I've opened it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now.
Okay. Uh, Choose the website, the YouTube one.
Okay. The problem is that it opens up and takes up my whole screen.
Okay. So
Let me
this.
see. Oh, okay. I got it without the full screen. So now you're saying it'll show up in that little box?
Yes.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I still don't see it when I press share and screen.
Okay. I think I got it. I'm gonna share it. I got it. So this the one. Okay.
So you
And
don't
here.
need my YouTube channel anymore.
I think this one. This is the one, right?
Okay. Go to author
Author, which is on the top.
up on top
Author.
there.
Okay.
See,
Then
and then no, I'm sorry. Go back. Um, Let me see. Oh yeah, go down. Press the. That's not the main one. So you go. Can you go to Fantastic Worlds? Fantastic. Go to the
fantastic.
main front page of my site
Fantastic
right
world.
here.
Oh, wait. This one.
Yeah.
Fantastic world.
Now go here to the sound artist books. You see my?
With
Can you see mine?
soundtrack books.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll do it. Now scroll down.
Okay.
and you'll see right there.
This one.
That's it.
Okay, let's listen. What's it, people?
Tales of the Ocean
Can
City
you
is the
open it
epic
up?
tale about
Yes.
a young civilization turning the corner into the future.
Yay.
But first, they must face a terrible enemy from the deep past. The main characters are a young man named Harloot and his lifelong companion Vespuccia, who is a pariah, a kind of telepathic Pegasus. Book 1, Battle in the Sky. Camouflaged in a small cloud, Vespuccia tread the air with her wings. She awaited Harloot's return to consciousness. Harloot's senses cleared. "What was that?" he rasped. "What's happening?" "We were stunned by some kind of psionic blast," she replied. Her mental voice sounded coarse. She was furious with herself for being caught off guard. "Prepare for battle," she urged. Tension flowed through him as he gripped Vespuccia's flanks with his knees. Having no weapon, he removed his tunic and wrapped the ends in his fists. Below, the princess was in the midst of her impassioned yet ill-advised attack. Vespuccia burst from their cover in the small cloud. The enemy bore down upon Brian Lynn. The foremost warrior uncoiled its obscene form and aimed a bristling spike for Jigla's exposed chest. "Dive!" Vespuccia commanded. Harloot took a quick breath and dove from her back, his arms outstretched in a swan dive. He held the ends of his rough cloth tightly in his fists. Wind whistled sharply in his ears, and turbulence buffeted him as he held his body rigid to control his dive. The spiky savage form rapidly neared. He braced himself as his tunic caught the lancer about the neck, unhorsed it, and sent it spinning to the plain below.
There you go. You get a taste of it there.
There you go. Interesting indeed, Mr. Christopher. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please to listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in its fourth season, and Law 101 and Mental Health 101 in its first season, and Love Letters in third season as well, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever
Wow,
you
you're prolific.
listen your podcast. Yes, Mr. Christopher, if these stories could become a part of the fabric of Ocean City itself, what would you want their legacy to be?
I'm sorry. Who? Say it again.
If these stories could become a part of the fabric of Ocean City itself, what would you want their legacy to be?
Well, I would want everyone to experience the power of the fantasy that is involved and apply that to their lives so that I'd like to invite people to my fantasy blog. It's called thefantasypower.com, and in it I discuss how fantasy can just augment your life experience. So my story and other stories of fantasy writers can just do so much for you as you go about your life. So much of that seems to be degraded and lost a bit in modern life. So it can be recovered and rejuvenated and empowered by powerful fantasy stories.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Christopher Kaufman. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world.
Very
So,
welcome.
can you please invite our listeners to support all your books?
Thank you.
So, where
Jesus.
do people can buy your books,
Yes.
Mister?
Well, you're looking right now at my Shopify store. It's called Kaufman Tales at kaufmantales.com, Sound Artist Books. and it's all
Yes.
there. That's the best place to go to enjoy it. And there's a lot of reviews and information on the store too that you can get more information from. I also have author's website, talesoftheoceancity.com. And there's a lot of information there, and there's music on there and all kinds of things. And my fantasy blog is a place where we can talk about fantasy and how it's affected your life, and a place you can go and talk about it with other people.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Christopher Kaufman, because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering series to come. So, Mr. Christopher, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
More to come, people. See you soon.